What is going on, everyone? It is Tyler McKinney back here again, and today we're getting into week number 5. That's right, week 5 of the NEPA Pro Series. Now, if you're a first-time viewer, glad to have you. If you're a return viewer, thanks for coming back and thanks for watching more videos. And if you haven't yet, consider subscribing. Now, you know I leave you a thumbs up at the end of every video, and it would be nice if you'd leave me a thumbs up, down below the video. You know that the subscribing, hitting the notification bell, liking the video, and leaving comments always does help the channel. And today, I want to know what your picks are. I'm going to give you my picks for week 5 of the NEPA Pro Series, and I want to know what your picks are. So we're specifically going to be getting into the Wednesday games, but before we do, I want to talk about the standings, because right now in the standings, they are really things are really tight, and I want to touch on that before we get into the game. So without further ado, let's hit to the standings. Let's go to the standings. In the East, like I said before in my previous video, if you watched it, I appreciate that. If you didn't, here's what I said. I said that you've got pretty much things broken up into 3 tiers. You got the top tier, which is the Cyclones at 4-0. Next, you have the Freeze at 3-1. Then you have the Kings and the Wizards sandwiched together at 2-2. And then you have kind of those at the bottom feeders. You have the Knights and the Legends. And in this one, really the Cyclones are, I would say they're above, far and away above the Freeze in that, but you kind of have them broken down in there. And the Wild West, that's right, because why? We have 4 teams sitting at 2-2. We have the Hustle at 3-1 at the top of the West division. Then we have the KC, we have the Raptors, the Laser Sharks, the Destroyers, all at 2-2. And then we have the Burners go ahead and finishing things out at 1-3. What does this all say? It pretty much says that this thing right now is still open. With 5 games left for each team to play, everyone is still in this thing. Now, I will say that the Knights, the Legends, and the Burners have a lot of ground to gain, but this is not impossible for them to do. So, let's now turn our attention to the matches that will be happening on December 8th, Wednesday night. Depending upon when you're watching this, that's when it'll fall. For me, it's going to be at 8 o'clock Eastern time. That's the time zone I'm in, so that's kind of where I know it's at. And we're going to start off first with the Destroyers and the Laser Sharks. And let me just say, before we get into anything, that these things were hard for me to pick this week. I think I might even lost a little sleep, kind of going through and all of the game that I've watched and gone through and seen it. It just seemed like these things were a little bit tougher to pick this week. Now, we've got 2 teams, the Laser Sharks, and we have the Destroyers. Both of these teams are sitting there with 2-2 records, and both of them have been kind of going in opposite directions. The Laser Sharks have been coming up, and the Destroyers have been going down. But listen, the Laser Sharks just got done beating up in a team that hasn't won a game, and we've got the Destroyers that just got beat up by the best team in the game. And so they're both coming from different perspectives here, but I think that they're both going to kind of fall in line here, and I think that this game is going to be a much closer game than what we had for either team last week. I think, the Destroyers are going to come out, they're going to look a lot better than what they did last week, and the Laser Sharks aren't going to look like the world beaters that they were last week. However, and I don't know if maybe I'm starting to buy into some of the fanfare or something like that with the Florida Laser Sharks, but I am just liking the progress with them, and they just continue to get better as a team overall, and I've really been enjoying this. I really was, last week, just by watching the game, Zenith really stuck out to me with the Destroyers this past week. What do I think is going to happen? I think that the Laser Sharks are going to pull this one out in the end. I think that they're going to, they're not going to win big, but they're going to win decisively. I think they're going to go ahead and finish this out in the 4th quarter. I think Jay Walker and Andy W. are going to take this thing home. I think that they're going to take over this game, and I think that Venom and Thunderfoot are going to kind of fill in there. Now, there is something that I do want to mention with this game, because it is a personnel change up and things with it. That Meatballer 90 is added to the Florida Laser Sharks official roster. I don't know what that means, but it was announced. So there it is out there. So we've got that information. How that equates in, I really don't know. I'll be honest, I have not really seen any game of Meatballer 90. So congratulations to you for making the roster, for being on the official team. And, I hope that you do well when you get in there. This is, though, one of those things to where it is going to be interesting to see how now Meatballer fits into the mix with this team that has actually been, over the last few weeks, really starting to click and shine together. But that's kind of where I'm sitting with it. I think the Laser Sharks are going to continue on. I think that they're going to get above 500 this week. And I think the LA Destroyers are going to continue to fall into the back. Nothing against them. I just think that is how it's going to fall. And I think that they're going to take another loss this week. Now, let's go ahead and move on to the middle game. And this one is one that I think is one that is going to be... I don't know if this is going to shock other people, but I guess for me, it almost seems like it is shocking. But the Freeze is a team that has, really snuck out there. And because the Cyclones are so good, they've kind of just snuck into that second place above a lot of these 2-2 teams. And that's kind of where they're sitting at in this matchup with the Kings. And this Kings team, they came off of a hard-fought loss last week, and they really fell apart towards the end. And this is going to be one that I'm really interested to see, because both of these teams are very, they're very strategic in the way that they do things. They're very finesse teams. I would say that the Kings are more strategic than the Freeze. The Freeze like to press things a lot, and I feel like that the Freeze's firepower across the board is just a lot more than what the Kings have. Now, I will say, I'll give credit where credit is due. The Kings are hungry, and yes, heck, I got your message, and I want to see you do well, and that with it, but I just don't think that you guys have the firepower to keep up with them. And even though Al is a fantastic goalie, I just feel like the Freeze is going to be moving the disc. Yes, I'm trying to say things right. Be moving the disc a lot quicker and faster, and going to catch the Kings off guard. The thing for me is that we know that that's going to happen. It's how the Kings are going to react this week. Are they going to react better than what they did last week? When they got behind, and it seemed to be, that they just missed passes, missed things, and were just slightly off, that threw their whole game plan off. So I would like to see how that transpires in this game. But I really think that you're just going to see the Freeze just pull away, and it's going to look kind of similar to last week's game for the Kings, but I do believe that this one is going to be a different thing, whereas I feel like the Hustle beat them up last week. I think that the Freeze are just going to just run them to death this week, and they're not going to be able to keep up with the back-to-back, back and forth, and that with it. But like I said, though, Kings, especially you, Hack, I love, just that bring it attitude. I want to see some ice water in your veins this week. I want to see you guys win. You're punched in the mouth. I want to see you guys get back up this week and take it to the Freeze. But I think that the Freeze are going to win, and I think they're going to pull away decisively with a nice win in this one. And then the final game of the night is the Legends and the Knights. And listen, this is a perfect opportunity for both of these teams. Both of these teams right now in the Knights and the Legends, both of them are sitting in the East. They're both the bottom feeders, and this really gives them both a chance to really just utilize this space to get them to that next tier, that next level, to get them up and give them an opportunity to figure out their identity, where they are, where they're going to go from here. The Knights have fallen on hard times. They've got a win, whereas the Legends don't. And I think that they're a little bit further along than where the Legends are, to where I think that they're going to pull off an interesting win here. What do I see in this game? I think that the Knights overall have the better firepower in this game. Hands down, that's where I think that it's at, and I think that that's going to propel them forward. And I think that they're going to get a decent lead early, and I think they're going to keep it out throughout the game. However, I think, and take me for what it is, a complete noob in this arena, in this league. I've been harping for the past couple weeks now. The Legends need to start playing as a team. And I think Kung's going to be back this week. And so if Kung is back this week, I think Kung takes the helm. And I think you're going to see a third quarter, possibly into fourth quarter run with this team. And I think that this is going to be the start of a different Legends team than what we have seen so far. I don't think they are going to be, just just kind of be able to be beat up by all these other teams. I think that they're going to be able to step up and, that they're going to actually start to give these other teams some good contests. That's kind of where I see things with it. The Knights are definitely going to win. I don't see this being anything close, but I think the Legends, the second half, they're going to make some adjustments. They're going to start to figure some things out as a team. They're going to, start to put some things together, and I think that you're going to see them make a run at the end of the game. It's not going to mean anything, but I think that it could do them well to propel them further on in the season. So to wrap things up, I've got, with my picks for this week, I got the Laser Sharks, I got the Freeze, and I have the Knights. Question as always is, what do you think? What are your picks this week? Who do you have? Do you think that I'm crazy? Do you think that I'm right? I want to know. So let me know down in the comment section, and we'll continue the conversation on down there. All right, guys, listen, I know that you're busy. I know that I'm busy. So let's get on out of here. You have a good night. Bye.